So now we're going to look at how to do joins, and to do join, inner join, and the chapter 8 is inner joins. So the first thing you should know is that it could be either inner join or join. Those are interchangeable. So you could just say join or you could say inner join. If you just say join, it's assumed inner join. That's the default if you just use join. And I have some sample databases here that I created. Let me see if there's more. Nope, just those three. And if you're catching this online, the resources of everything we're looking at is right there. So you could just kind of go to this outline which we're looking at, or that URL of all the playlists. So example databases. The climbing database. So we create the table, or create the database. We change into it. We create a table. Create table categories, and then cat ID, int, primary key, not null, cat name, text, not null. We insert into categories values. So we insert into the categories table values. We create a table climbs, CID, int, primary key, not null, CNAME, text, not null, and cat ID, int references categories. So the categories table, right, references the categories table, cat ID. Cat ID is right there. Okay, so this table here is how climbs is connected to categories, and you can see a little visual of that here. Here we have the climbs table, CID, CNAME, cat ID, and then in categories we have the cat ID and cat name. Why do we want to do it like this? But why do we separate into two tables for category? The category is going to be easy, medium, hard. You can see here the data for categories is easy, medium, hard, impossible. So why do we separate that into its own table categories? You only want to enter something once. And you want people to have to choose and not enter it. And that ensures data integrity and data validation. I don't want to have somebody typing in easy, medium, hard, impossible, too hard, right? Super easy, EZ, the letters EZ, right? Like I want them to choose those from those four choices. And if I ever modify those four choices, I change it in one spot. And so you eliminate redundancy in databases, and that's called normalizing the database. Eliminate redundancy. And there's different normal forms. Normalizing wiki database. Database normalization is the process of restructuring a relational database in accordance with a series of normal forms in order to reduce data redundancy and improve data integrity. And there's different normal forms, but the main thing is you do not want data redundancy. So that's a big thing in programming. Do not repeat yourself. They call it dry. Keep your code dry. Do not repeat yourself. DRY. Dry. Make your code dry. Do not repeat yourself. So we don't want to ever have to repeat those categories. They're entered once in one place, and then they're chosen, and that reduces data redundancy and increases data integrity. So those are our two tables, and to see that in action, how do I list out my databases? They're my databases. Let me close this one. And I could change into climbing. How do I change into climbing? And then how do I list all my tables in climbing? How do I see the details of all the tables? Cool. And then how do I see the details of one table? So you can see I have CID, CNAME, cat ID, and then cat ID and cat name. How could I see what data is in climbs? And then how do I see what data is in categories? Cool. And now you can kind of see how it's connected. How difficult is the north face climb?
Impossible.
It's impossible. Because the north face climb has cat ID 4. And cat ID 4, right, is impossible. How difficult is the Toll House slab? Toll House slab, cat ID 1. Man, that's easy. Anybody ever climbed the Toll House slab in here? No. What about Metal Mark? How difficult is Metal Mark? Easy. Anybody climbed Metal Mark? Nobody's climbed Metal Mark here? How many people don't know Metal Mark? Oh man, that's like you're looking for a fun evening out with friends or with a date. This is like a totally good time. It's totally user-friendly. Metal Mark, Fresno. And here we go. Let's see photos. And it'll cost you like 20 bucks a person. And look at these crazy. And then they have ropes attached, and they put on the harness for you, and you connect in. And they teach you how to belay. And they have a gym too if you want to work out. But then you get to go up like it's like those climbing structures for kids, but it is so huge. Look at how high that is. Look at how big. I want to see some people climbing. Like way up there, right? Like see that person way up at the top? It's totally fun. It's out by Cedar and Ashland, by that baseball park that never took off. There it is. Look, just out in an empty field, right? Totally weird. So it's also a really cool place to check out because Fresno is next to basically, you know, Mecca for climbing, which is Yosemite is like one of the world's best climbing destinations. So you'll see amazing climbers in there sometimes. All right, so we've got our climbs and climbing, by the way. Sorry, I'm on a tangent. I've surfed. I've skateboarded, I've windsurfed, I've subscribed to those magazines, and then I started climbing just in a gym for fun with my friend. And climbing was the only sport where the magazine, at the back of the magazine every month, they had an in memoriam section. So that's when I was like, I don't really want to climb for real. You know, like the sport has in the back of their magazine an in memoriam section. Like, oh, these are the climbers we lost this month. Like, no, I'll stick with surfing. All right. So we insert into climbs these values, and those are, you know, the ID, the name of the climb, and then the category ID. And then we select CNAME, cat name from climbs, inner join categories on climbs, cat ID, categories, cat ID. Or you could put parens around it if that helps you from, and then you could just put parens around that part. This is what I'm selecting it from. But what you want to do, and here's the secret of doing an inner join. If you look at that, right, I'm just going to go left to right. So diagram out my stuff, my schema, and I'm going to select CNAME, right, which is right here. I'm going to select cat name, which is right here. And then I'm going to go from climbs. I start just left to right. And I want to join that. I could also just say inner join, but inner join is the explicit one. If you say join, it assumes inner join. So I start with climbs, and I want to join that on categories. So take climbs and join it to categories on table climbs cat ID. This is a cat ID. Being equal to table categories cat ID, right? So that makes sense. And so you just work left to right. And I broke out this part right here, down here. So I'm going from table climbs, I'm joining it to categories, and I'm just using join here instead of inner join. So climbs, join categories, this table, join that table, on from the table climbs, cat ID, equal to categories cat ID. And that's all you got to do to make it work. So that's the first step. What's the question?
Right above that, didn't you already do the reference int?
Yeah, so I int references categories cat ID. So will it work, are you saying, if I don't include, if I just ask for, you know,
So you
like,
have to do both of those
so
to get it to...
you don't have to do references.
Okay, so you don't have to do that top.
No. You could join on anything. I could say, I could have customers and I can have employees and I could join on zip code. I don't know what kind of results that would give me, but you know, I could just say, hey, join on customers zip code equals employees zip code.
The book does say that we can join like with like, so only characters to columns with other characters, but
Yeah.
it warns against connecting nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to think it through, right? You're the ultimate person architecting what results come out. And you have to join similar data types. So I couldn't join, you know, a text with a number. That wouldn't make sense. So the question that maybe you're asking is because we've said, hey, this is connected up here, can we just say cname cat name from climbs, maybe comma categories? I've never seen that, but you might try it and see what happens. Like we could just start with this. Nope. That would be kind of cool. Ho! Totally surprising to me.
Wow.
Right? Because it's connected with references, we don't have to do the join thing. That totally just blew me away. But that's like the cool thing with experimentation. Everybody see why that worked? And I just kind of follow, it worked because of this right here. But the other way to do it is select cname cat name from climbs. Let's rebuild it. From climbs, join, is this right? Climbs join. So climbs join categories on, what's next? Climbs dot cat ID equal to categories dot cat ID. Interesting. So look at the difference in the result. Cname cat name from climbs join categories. On climbs.catID categories cat ID, we have 24 rows up here, and we have 6 rows down here. Up here, metal mark is easy, metal mark is medium, metal mark is hard, metal mark is impossible. Down here, metal mark is easy. That's it. And if we do select star from climbs, metal mark is 1, select star from categories. And 1 is easy. So this gave us what we were looking for. This gave us something called the Cartesian product. take everything in one table and match it to everything in the other table. One time. So everything in climbs got matched once with everything in categories. Everything in climbs got matched once with the next thing in categories. Everything in climbs got matched once more with the next thing in categories. So that gave us the Cartesian product.
So philosophers are useful for something.
Oh, tell us about Cartesian.
Descartes.
Tell us more. Why is it?
Philosopher, mathematician.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But why did Descartes, philosopher, mathematician, end up with a Cartesian product? That's a math thing.
You heard of the Cartesian graph, right? Like one point is matched by an X line. So.
Oh, cool.
That's
Cartesian graph. Cartesian coordinates. Yeah. I just learned so much stuff and I never used it. And then it goes away and then it comes back. All right, so that's the first one. Anybody have any questions? How many people feel like that clarifies it some for me? We got a little bit in the weeds there with an experimentation, but the spirit of the adventurous spirit of, you know, being able to explore and experiment and try things, that's really what you want to adopt as you're learning computer stuff. I wonder what would happen if I do this. I wonder what would happen if I do this. And then just see what comes out. And then the main takeaway is select the fields from, and then climbs, inner join categories on climbs.catID, categories catID. Just read it left to right as you connect it. Let's do the next one in the next video.